Hey Vibers, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to the Vibe with Kai podcast. Today I'm sitting with my incredible new friend, Daniel DH Hong, founder and CEO of DH Fitness out in the Bay in California. Before we get to my interview, be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms at the Vibe with Kai, or visit my official website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My guest today, Daniel D.H. Hong, health and fitness has always been important to him. Throughout his life, he's been on a journey of improving and increasing his ability to help others reach their goals of well being, both physically and mentally. In 2008, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The physical and mental challenge of overcoming cancer inspired him to recommit to living a holistically healthy life and making it his duty to effectively help those in the community who are facing similar challenges. For the past 10 years, he has been dedicated to personal fitness and playing significant leadership roles as a part of the premier fitness organizations in the Bay Area, which I've never visited before. I've never been to the Bay Area. I need to make it out there. And since 2011, he expanded his reach by consulting and implementing more impactful corporate wellness programs with tech companies of all sizes, gaining the reputation of supporting organizations all over the place. DH joining me today to talk about his journey and how you could take your health and fitness to the next level as summer comes to the close. DH, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, Kai? Thank you so much for having me. It
Yeah.
is a pleasure and an honor. And I know we've been friends for like 3 days, but I feel like we vibe
Yes.
the same.
I
So I
see
mean,
what you
I
did
think it.
there.
You see what I did there. So the natural attraction, man, is
Yeah.
it's mutual. I'm so glad to know you and to be in your circle and to have an opportunity to speak to your audience today. And
Yeah.
I look forward to sharing my story. And that was the best intro I've ever heard.
Well, you know what?
I
I'm not
feel
gonna
like
lie. I took
you're
that
not
right from
lying.
your website. I took it straight from your
Yeah,
website. So I can't even take
I
credit
was
for
like,
that.
that sounds familiar.
It's all about the delivery, my friend. That's all it
I
is.
love it. I love it.
So let me tell the listeners real quick about how our paths ended up crossing. So a couple, like I would say maybe last week, I put up a TikTok saying that it's time for me to get my butt in shape. I'm 34 years old, and I want to put myself back in the mode of being in shape because I was very much in shape, and I feel like I'm still okay now, but I know I can do better. And things kind of shifted for me personally when in October 2018 I ruptured my Achilles, which is one of the worst things that you can do to your
Mm.
foot. And I was pretty much just grounded, literally grounded for the longest time. And I lost my focus mentally, physically. I lost it. And even after I was cleared to do physical activities again, I lost that focus that I had. I couldn't get back into it. I couldn't find a groove. So I've just kind of been coasting along. And then obviously the pandemic came, and that I was using that as an excuse, even though I shouldn't have been. And so like it hit me, not too long ago. I was like, man, I need to get my butt in shape. And I've been so blessed to have met so many incredible influencers from the fitness perspective, and seen them on TikTok and on Instagram. So I put out a little call on TikTok, and I'm like, hey, does, any, does anybody know of any person out there that is willing to help me out? And let me tell you, DH, he was like, me. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. He reached out to me on TikTok. He reached out to me on Instagram. His followers reached out to me. It was like as soon as it went down, I was like, oh, this is a no brainer. This is a no brainer. So that's why I'm happy that you and I are talking, my friend.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. I saw
Yeah,
the energy come through on your TikTok that you posted, and I just got the sense like this guy's genuine and
yeah,
he's really interested in a simple approach to start living a healthier life. The last thing you need is your life turned upside down and be like, this is, give you this the steepest kind of like uphill battle, but that's not the case. And I felt like, this is somebody that has the right kind of mental attitude to tackle something like this. And I didn't know about, because in that TikTok, you didn't mention your background or kind of
right.
where you're coming from. So I was really, really more curious about, well, where is Kai starting? What's his starting point? And
Right.
I looked at it as a way to, continue to support this community, this awesome community that I've found on TikTok. And I was so grateful for the individual that tagged me on your post, and I was like, oh, I got to get on it.
Oh yeah, and you did, man. And so this is what I want to do. I kind of want to start. I'm going to start at 2020, and then I'm going to work my way backwards, and then we'll go back forward. So I want to start with 2020 because obviously, for those of you that are listening, I don't know if you heard or not, but there was a little nonsense that went down in 2020 where the world shut down. The world caught on fire a little bit, and it kind of threw the world for a loop. So for DH, for you personally, what was it like navigating 2020, finding ways to stay active, to stay positive when the world was just shut down? What was it like for you?
I think for many of us, we were trying to really acknowledge and accept what was actually happening.
Mm.
I think many of us needed 3 months to kind of get our feet back underneath us and figure out this path for this new sense of normal. And from a business standpoint, my business was affected by losing 75% of my revenue
Wow.
in a month. 75%. So
Wow.
that was a huge hit.
Yeah, I can only
My wife
imagine.
and I were just like, okay, that's it is what it is. And she was very supportive. You know, I definitely could not be here without the support of my lovely wife Allie. And we really put our heads together to figure out what is it that we can do now, being in the midst of a global pandemic and this health crisis that, I mean, we were all terrified. And first and foremost, our safety needed to be a priority. But then also for myself, she at the time had a steady corporate job, but for me, I needed to figure out how am I going to continue to service my community. That was my biggest concern. Is like how do I still have an impactful reach with the people that have entrusted me to guide them through this health and wellness journey.
Mhm.
So it was, we put two brains together and we just started drawing up on our whiteboard in my office just some ideas. And I think it was a no-brainer. We kind of circled this idea of I need to make a digital presence in online
Yeah.
with just what I do. And it was exciting. It was definitely a learning curve. It probably took us honestly like till the end of the year to really figure out what our direction was going to be. We had to scrap some ideas. We had to buckle down and really invest in some production, post production, kind
Right.
of allocate a reasonable amount of investment in supplying those efforts. And so, um, but the positivity aspect, that's an interesting question because I never really thought about that. But what helped me to stay positive, I think, is just recalling back on my own journey
Mm.
from, like you mentioned in your introduction, when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2008, over 13 years ago. I was devastated.
Sure. Yeah.
And as a 20 healthy, active 23-year-old,
Mhm.
to have to face your own mortality in the face and being like, I have to get through this.
Mm.
It's a very life changing, paradigm shifting kind of moment in your life where your identity from that point forward changes.
Mhm.
Right? You're a cancer survivor. You experienced an illness. Like you're in that like category now. So you think differently, you behave differently,
Mhm.
you just operate at a different in a different place now.
Sure.
And so when I recalled back on that experience and the lessons I learned and the resiliency that needed to be kind of developed for myself physically, mentally, emotionally, I knew I could get through this experience maintaining a positive outlook if I just went back to why. Why is it
Right.
necessary for me to continue? Right. Just like back
Right.
in 2008 when I was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer, I'm like, why do I need to keep going? And it
Right.
was just so clear. I had so much more to accomplish. I had people around me that I love, my family, my friends, my community, um, groups I was a part of, social
Right.
circles. they depend on me too.
Right.
My presence in their life is significant, and not to come from a place of arrogance, but because I want to have an impactful role on those
Mhm.
individuals. And
Mhm.
so I knew, recalling back on that experience, it was no different than coming out of 2020 or writing out 2020 with this mindset of, I still have a community to serve,
Mm.
and I got to get back out there. I have to get to work. I don't
Yeah.
know how I'm going to help them, but I know with my why being service your community, I was
Mm.
going to find a way.
It's interesting because one of the really unique things about being in the social media community, but and you know this as well, you connect with so many people every day, right? So many people that you have never met before that are reaching out to you for help, for tips, for advice, for inspiration, whatever it may be. And on my end, I sometimes get people that are they feel so down, and they feel like like this is it, right? And like there's nothing that I can do about it. Like the way that life is right now, like that is it. And I do my best to try to, keep it, to put a smile on their face, or to, you know, make their day a little bit better. But I'm curious for you, on from your side of things, when you were diagnosed,
Hmm.
was there ever a moment that you were like what you were just talking about before? I mean, it's really inspirational. Like you figured it out, right? But was there ever a time for you that you were like, man, this is it? I don't know if I can make it through this. Was there ever a moment like that for you? And what did you do to bring yourself out of that?
That's a fantastic question, Kai. I would say the initial kind of diagnose phase, getting diagnosed with cancer, going through the biopsy,
Hmm.
getting the diagnosis, figuring out how I'm gonna pay for all of the
Right.
medical
Yeah.
expenses. I mean, it just felt like an insurmountable, like, just obstacle that was just like just landed right in front of me. And
Right.
now
Right.
it's like, you got to figure out how to climb that. And then I'm just like, well, you're staring at the top of the mountain, and then you're like, I don't even know how to start moving my feet.
Mm.
So it was definitely a, very defeating, deflating experience for me, emotionally, physically, mentally. There were moments where I would just be so depressed, and I would just be so sad because I'm like, and then you go down this rabbit hole of like, man, maybe if I didn't do that, or I should have done this better,
Right.
and you just
Right.
play out
Playing this like
all
woulda,
these.
coulda, shoulda game, and like, yeah, yeah. I get that.
Exactly, but that doesn't do anything for you to actually move forward. And so I that's a great question. I definitely had some traumatic emotional experiences coming out of that. And to this day, I think it still kind of needs to have some unpacking,
Hmm.
but I definitely learned a lot. And initially, when I did feel deflated, I had to lean on a lot of people
Sure.
for support.
Yeah.
My parents drove me to the hospital for my infusions, because after I was infused, you're basically in the fetal position for like 2 days. And then by
Sure.
the third day, you kind of get life back. And then you have to go right back to get your next
Yeah. Yeah.
infusion, because that's just what it is. That's just
Hmm.
how you're going to handle that situation. And so that was really hard. So leaning on my parents, leaning on my sisters. I have three amazing, beautiful sisters, two older, one younger,
Hmm.
and they helped me a lot. They helped me to get some financial support through
Sure.
the local county and the state, because I didn't have health insurance at the time. I'm
Hmm.
23 years old. I
Yeah.
just came off of my parents' insurance,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just like, nah, I'll worry about it when I worry about it. I was being,
Right.
reckless with my
Sure.
health insurance, just kind of avoiding that situation. But it was what it was, and I wasn't going to depend on my parents to bail me out.
Hmm.
And so, I looked for other ways to do it, and it, it
Yeah.
happened.
And
We
and
got through it.
and now you have DH Fitness, which
Mhm.
is which found its way into your life, and and is helping people all over the country, improve their life physically, mentally. What is it like knowing that your story, your drive, your fitness, your mentality is just helping so many people? What is it like knowing that?
What is it like? It is very humbling.
Sure.
It's very, very humbling to be considered an authority on helping people live a healthy life the simplest way possible.
Hmm.
Examining your daily healthy habits. That's what it is. That's what it is. You write down on a piece of paper the 5 things you do habitually every single day, and we can basically figure out if you're a healthy person or not,
Hmm.
right? Because health is a habit. I say that often, but it's absolutely true. Your health is a manifestation of just the things you do repeatedly over and
Yes.
over every single day. That's
Hmm.
just what it is. There are studies that prove that 40 to 45% of our daily choices and behaviors are not actually controlled by us
Hmm.
as far as our consciousness goes. They're
Yeah.
just things we do. They're just things you do.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
it's the reason why we can pull out of the driveway in reverse, but still worry about what episode of this podcast we actually want to listen to,
Right.
because
Right.
it's just the way our brain works.
It's like when
Having
when you're driving to work and then you think for a second like, wait, I don't remember the last 5 minutes of me driving, but you're
Absolutely.
just on autopilot for yeah.
Absolutely right. That is
Mhm.
exactly the same
Yeah.
situation. Our brain is so efficient at preserving energy, it's
Yeah.
going to try and do the least amount of work possible. And if you look at the situation with many of the people, not just here in the Bay Area, all over the country, all over the world, it a more terrifying global pandemic is how sick people are with their
Mm.
health.
Mhm.
Obesity in this country
Yeah.
is at a very, very high rate.
Yeah.
The abuse and dependency on medicine to
Mm.
be a way to solve a lot of these unhealthy situations and circumstances many people find themselves in.
Yeah.
Medicine has its place, but as the saying goes, the difference between medicine and poison is the dosage.
Mm.
And I think we can all agree that
Mhm.
there is a heavy, heavy dependency and reliance on medicine in this country.
Mhm.
And we don't have to go into that because
I agree with you.
I don't want it to be that conversation. But the point being, and to go back to your original point, is that how does it feel? It feels incredibly um, it feels like an incredible honor to be able
Yeah.
to help people with a realistic approach to addressing their health.
Right.
And that's what it's all about, because health, everyone deserves to live a healthy life.
Right. Right.
Everyone deserves an opportunity to learn about how to eat better, how to move their body in a safe way
Yeah.
to better improve their self-reliance of everyday tasks. People deserve the chance to feel good by staying properly hydrated, taking care of their mental health through meditation, and whatever meditation means for you. Some
Mhm.
people have a spiritual take on it. Some people have a very like Zen yoga approach
Sure.
to it. Other people just they like to just be by themselves with their
Right.
thoughts, whatever that means to you. But it's important. I think if there's anything we learned coming out of 2020, your mental health is a
Oh my
real
goodness.
thing now.
Yes.
We're not talking about mental health like you have a mental disorder or a mental problem. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the space between your ears, the thing that occupies your skull
Mhm.
needs to be trained like any other muscle.
Yes.
It needs to be healthy.
Yes.
And I mean, quite honestly, it probably takes the top spot as far as priority goes
Mhm.
with our body's health. And
Absolutely.
so having the chance to be in front of people and to get the right messaging out and to kind of demystify and debunk this
Mhm.
idea that the barrier to entry into health is this high,
Mhm.
and just letting people know that's not true.
Mm.
That's not true.
Right. Right.
Anybody can start living a healthier life, and in fact, everybody deserves it.
Absolutely. What do you find? Because I mean, you speak with people of all shapes and sizes and backgrounds and all of that. What do you find is the most common health issue or goal that people approach you about? What is the most common thing?
That's a really good question. I'm going to answer it in two ways.
Hmm.
Initially, when people talk to you about their health goals, their fitness goals, it has something to do with removing something out of their life, right? Like, I want to lose 30 pounds.
Mhm.
I want to stop eating unhealthy junk food, removing things, taking things out of your life. My approach when anybody comes to me with the potential to work with me,
Mhm.
the community or one on one, is what can we add in back into your life?
Mm.
Because I think we have all developed this mindset of reduction, removal, um, lowering calories, removing food. It's always has to do with like taking things away from us. But emotionally, that is very, very hard for a lot
Mm.
of people to tell somebody you're this food because it is bad for you. It's bad. No food is inherently, don't assign moral value to food. It
Mm.
is an inanimate object,
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? And
Yeah.
to say that this food is bad and this food is good,
Mhm.
that's just not true. Your usage of it needs to change. Don't remove anything from your life. You need to add in now things that are going to take care of you, things that are
Right,
going to nurture you, nourish you. Let's
right,
talk about healthier food options. Let's talk about more movement. Let's talk about spending time to slow down, calm down your mind.
yeah.
Let's talk about strength training. Let's talk about resistance training. So
Mhm.
you become a more resilient human being.
Right.
Don't try to approach fitness to answer your question. I know that was kind of a roundabout way, but to answer your question, the common thing people approach me with is how do I get rid of this stuff that I
Yeah,
don't like? I want to just get rid of it. You need to stare at it in the face. It's not
right.
going anywhere anytime soon. And you need to start developing the mindset of adding in the things that
Yeah.
you actually are missing.
I love that.
Start there. Start there.
Yeah.
Losing weight, getting stronger, having better body composition, having better body positivity image about yourself. Those are all a byproduct of living a healthy life.
Right, right. That's
It
amazing.
is.
I never thought of it that way. You know, about how you were going in about how people are always like wanting to strip away and take away, but without the focus really being on, adding in the things that are necessary to keep pushing you forward. I never thought of it that way.
Absolutely true.
That's
Absolutely
amazing.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's a good segue into one of the things that I know that I'm going to be a part of. You're doing this August 30-day challenge for people. Can you talk about what that is and
Yeah,
what people will get out of it?
absolutely. So one day, my buddy Lucas and I, who's a trainer here in the Bay Area as well, we were talking about why our clients fail.
Mm,
Why 100% they are not successful? Because that's true. If you ever meet a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, anybody in the fitness space that claims they have a 100% success rate,
mm.
they're lying to you.
They're lying.
Okay,
They're BSing you.
they're
Sure,
lying. They're
absolutely.
lying. Okay, so it's okay to have these conversations about where we made mistakes as
Yeah.
trainers. That's totally, absolutely true.
Right.
I've made mistakes,
Hmm.
and we got into this conversation about why do our clients fail? Why can't we deliver 100% success? And it came down to it was a long conversation, but we whittled it down to bandwidth.
Mm,
Bandwidth. The mental capacity for a lot of us are the mental capacity is spent on other things
hmm.
rather than focusing on what you're eating that day, how much hydration you have. Are you taking time to move your body? Are you taking time to meditate?
Hmm.
There's less emphasis on those things because our mental bandwidth is being used on how am I going to pay the bills?
Sure. Yeah.
How am I going to, where am I going to live?
Hmm.
What job is this the right career for me? There are so many other things that preoccupy our mental capacity.
Yeah.
So then naturally, your you your brain cannot wrap the energy around focusing on eating better.
Right.
So then you revert to old habits.
Right.
You
Because
revert
you're comfortable
to
there. Yeah.
you're comfortable.
Mhm.
And the front part of your brain, that's where we do all the like cognitive
Mhm.
thinking, your prefrontal cortex. But the middle of your brain is where you run on autopilot.
Mhm.
And but the front part of your brain takes a lot of energy to use because that's where a lot of the deeper thinking comes from.
Yeah.
And I'm simplifying it, of course. I'm not like well versed in neurology, but just based off of my
I mean, you could
own
be lying right
research,
now, and I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, that's great."
I just memorized a couple of terms.
No,
But
you're good.
if we can make the middle of our brain, that part of the brain, naturally and easily run on cruise control with this idea of making healthier choices
Mhm.
through healthier habits,
Mhm.
then you can still have the capacity to wrap your mind around other important things that you need to think about, but your default or autopilot behavior to become healthier and healthier. So we basically, from that conversation, we realized our clients are not always successful because their minds are distracted with other things going on in their life. So
Mhm.
then if we go one step lower, instead of worrying about how much weight they're lifting, instead of worrying about counting how many almonds and grapes that they're having, instead of worrying about that kind of stuff, let's just talk about the basics.
Yeah.
Do you have time to move around 30 to 45 minutes every day? Time to move your body? Do you have time to drink more water rather than just coffee and alcohol? Do you
Right.
have time to make a meal instead of always going out and finding yourself in the drive-through, checking your email on your phone as you're picking up, whatever, McDonald's or whatever it is?
Mhm.
And are you constantly on your phone, or can you put it down and go for a walk outside for 15 minutes?
Right.
So if you can show us that you can do that for at least 2 weeks, then you're in a place where you can take on, hey, I want to add 15 pounds of muscle. Hey, I do
Right.
want to run a half marathon. I do want to start bodybuilding. I do want to start strength training specifically to become stronger and stronger.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whatever goals you have, you can pursue those things if the base,
If the
if your
base is there.
foundation
Yeah.
is there.
Right. 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 So if somebody wants to join this movement that you're starting in August, what can they do, and what will they get out of it?
Absolutely. Great
Mhm.
question. The first thing to do is to sign up for the
Mhm.
challenge. It's 97 cents a day. It's less than a dollar a
Mhm.
day. And it's a commitment that I think most people can make. And it's
Yeah.
not, it has nothing to do with the money. The
Right.
commitment is there because you need to be invested to some
Yes.
degree to see it all the way through. You
Mhm.
need to have some skin in the game and you need to
Mhm.
be committed. And
Right.
that's what it signifies, is that you're committed, you're in. You want to see this thing through, and you want to live every single day. Every day we go through the 5 healthy habits. 2 to
Mhm.
3 liters of water, at least 3 healthy meals that mainly
Mhm.
consist of lean protein, fresh in season, low calorie, high fiber fruits and vegetables,
Right.
healthy fats, smart carbs. You'll learn all about that in the challenge. Do you have 30 to 45 minutes of walking outside that you can get done reasonably every single day? Can you
Mhm.
exercise at least 3 times a week? Can you work that into your schedule? And then number five, can you spend 15 minutes with your thoughts,
Mm.
undistracted, by yourself every day? We
Yeah.
go through those 5 healthy habits every day. That's one point of accountability. Accountability point number two is we're going to have FaceTime with me as your
Mhm.
coach, guiding you through the 30 days. We have 6 weekly private live sessions, three of which are Q&As and three that are group workouts.
Mhm.
We do this through Zoom. It's private. It's not on TikTok or any other social media platform. And then the third point of accountability, which has been such an amazing thing to witness the flowering of, is this online community that we found each other on TikTok. And
Mhm.
we have a private Facebook group. The conversations in there are so encouraging, so supportive. People telling their stories, sharing what they ate, sharing videos of them working out with their going on walks and working out with their significant others, their life partners, their kids. their workmates. I think
Yeah.
it's so
It's nice to
amazing
have
how.
that community there, so you know you're not alone in all of this. You're working. There are other people out there that are working towards the same goal in a way as you are. So you're never alone in this. You always have something or somebody by your side every step of the way to help you, to guide you, to motivate you. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
those 3 points of accountability have been very, very helpful for individuals
yeah.
that participate in the challenge, and I love being a part of it. I love being their
Yeah,
guide through this journey.
I love that. So what I'm going to do for everybody that's listening right now, I'm going to put all of the information on how you can sign up for this in the description notes. But probably the easiest thing that you can do right now is go follow DH on Instagram at DH Fitness. I'm going to put that in the notes as well. That way you can just click there and sign up and be like, hey, Kairos sent me. And here's the thing: some of you might be listening to this halfway through the month of August and you're like, oh no, I missed it. Hey, no, it's all good. You can still contact him. You can still be like, hey, listen, I want to do what you're doing right now, and he will make it. He will make it happen. He will make it work for you. This is what I want to do with you. I want to play a little game with you real quick.
Yeah,
It's called this
let's
or
do it.
that. This or
This or
that.
that. Okay.
And all I'm going to do is I'm going to say this or that. I'm going to give you two choices. You have to choose something out of the two, but you can't think about it. You just got to boom right. First thing that comes straight to your head. First
You
thing that
didn't
comes
warn
to
me
your head.
about this. You didn't
Oh
warn
yeah,
me about
no, I
this.
want to catch. I gotta catch you off guard. I gotta keep you on your toes, man. All
Let's do it.
right,
Let's
here we
do
go.
this.
All right, there's 10 altogether. Here we go. First one.
10. Okay.
Yep. Would you rather have talking pets or talking babies?
Talking pets.
Talking pets. Okay. Ranch or blue cheese?
Ranch.
Ranch. Oh, wrong answer. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Book smart or street smart?
Street smart.
Zombies or vampires?
Vampires?
You sure? You
Oh
sure?
man. Vampires, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. Air guitar or air drums?
Air drums.
Good choice. Guacamole or salsa?
Guacamole.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'll let it slide. A comedian in a serious film or a serious actor in a comedy film?
Serious actor in a comedy film.
Interesting choice. Okay. All right. I'll go with that.
I like
Would you
dry humor.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you rather have loud neighbors or nosy neighbors?
Loud.
Loud neighbors, I agree with you because those people need to stay out of my business. Would you prefer watching TV shows or movies?
TV shows.
Okay. And here's the last one. You did pretty good. You did some of those answers. I was like, okay, fine. But this is the last one. Here we go. Would you rather be in a store where every item is free or a restaurant where every dish is calorie free?
Restaurant where every dish is calorie free. I like that.
Interesting. I mean, that's an
Yeah.
obvious choice. I
Yeah.
get that. That's fair. I
Yeah.
think I might go with the store where every item is free because I feel like I could get some. I can get some stuff that might help me with with my health.
I
My
love that.
health.
And you can make your own foods.
There,
The
there we
resources
go.
would
Do
be
you want to change
endless.
your answer? Do
That's
you want to?
no, I'm
No.
gonna stick with my restaurant eating bonanza. I think that's what I would want to do.
That's
That's what
fair.
I would
That's
want to
fair.
do.
So DH to wrap. Thank you for playing, by the way.
That was fun.
To wrap this up, one thing I always like to ask people is, um, what is I guess one piece of advice
Mhm.
that you would give to somebody who is struggling to live that healthy life that they really want. They know they want to do it. They know they have to do it. They want to make it happen, but they're not sure how. They don't know where to go. They don't know what
Mhm.
the next step is. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that is listening right now that might be in that position, what would you say?
Perfection does not exist.
Amen. Yes.
Perfection does not exist. It's a famous is it Muhammad Ali? Is a Muhammad Ali quote, or I think it might be Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yes.
Everybody has a plan until
Yeah.
until you don't.
Yeah.
On paper, it's perfect. In your mind, it's perfect. But guess what? None of that is true. At least yet.
Yeah.
At least not yet. You have to get going. I would rather have 100% of my clients and my community, the people that I work with, just start. I mean, start in the middle of a storm. Like, that's the best time to start. When life
Yeah.
is not going the way you want it to, that is the best time to
Mm,
start because you're going to figure out who you are. You're going to figure out if it even matters to you, if it's even important. Because if it's not important, you're never going to have the time. You're never going to have the space in your schedule. You're never going to know the right things to eat. You're never going to know what workout to do. You're never going to know. There's just an endless list of things that are unknown and unknowable that will just leave you in the same spot every single time over and over and over again. And you know what that causes? That causes you to depend on failing. That
mm,
causes you to develop a comfort around knowing, see, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew it's not for me. I knew I'm supposed to be unhealthy. I knew I'm supposed to be overweight. I knew I'm supposed to be on medicine for the rest of my life. That's not true.
mhm.
That is not true. There is no such thing as perfection. Just start. As messy, as many times as you trip and fall over, tumble, that's the journey. That
Mhm.
is part of the process. And unless you embrace that truth that there is no perfect plan, it will be very, very hard for you to ever change. Because currently, the reason why you need to start doing things differently is because you want change.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing the same things and expect something to change. That's not how it works.
Mhm.
Just start. Don't wait for
Yeah.
perfection. It'll never show up.
What's next for you, DH? So like, what's the next step for you? Where do you want where do you personally want to be? Over the next set period of years or time, whatever it may be. What's the next step for you? What's the next goal?
I want to help a million people.
I love it.
I want to help 1 million people, not 999,999 people.
Yeah,
I want to
1
help
million.
1 million people.
Yeah,
And it's not because I can have a 1.0 M on my profile or whatever.
yeah,
It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with back in 2008 when I was diagnosed with cancer and going through my treatments and then leaving the hospital after my last radiation appointment. I looked at the hospital and I said, I've learned so much about myself
yeah.
and this world that I'm now walking out of. Everything that I've learned, it is now my moral obligation and duty to help people mitigate the risks of ever stepping foot into this hospital.
Mm,
That was my mission from that point forward. Everything I learned, I need to pay it forward. I need to help people to avoid the situation I just went through. And I want to affect the health and influence in a positive way a million people. I know that's possible. I have no doubt in my mind I can do it. And it's just going to be a matter of time. It's not a
it's
question
gonna
of if,
happen.
it's a question of when.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. 100%. By God, by God, we're gonna make this happen.
We're going
It's
to
gonna
make it
be worth
happen.
it.
We're going to
Absolutely.
remember this day, Kai, and we're
Yeah.
going to say, remember that conversation we
Yeah.
had? We're going to we're going to
we're
do
gonna
it.
be looking back at it, man. Be like, yo, remember that day? It was July 29th, 2021. You
Mhm.
know? Dude,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your story. I appreciate your time. Once again, folks, if you are interested in joining DH in his journey to help you, then by God, reach out to him. He has multiple ways you can reach out. You can hit him up on Instagram, on TikTok, follow him at DH Fitness. All of his contact information is there. Hit this man up because I promise you, you're not going to regret it. DH, thanks, man. Thanks for
It
sitting
was
with
a
me, bro.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This was so fun. I hope we can do it again soon.
Oh, we will. You're not going anywhere. You're stuck in my life now.
Love it.
I love it. To everybody else, if you enjoyed listening to this, or if you're watching on YouTube, if you enjoyed watching this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you are notified anytime I post something here on YouTube. If you're listening, please be sure to subscribe, and that way, you'll be the first person to see or hear anytime I post it as well. And if you enjoy me, you enjoy this space, if you can see it right now, then you can follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be, at The Vibe with Kai. Or you can visit my official website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. To my guest today, Daniel D.H. Hong of DH Fitness, thank you so much for sitting with me. Everybody else, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, God bless and good vibes.